One time I got in trouble for clearing a pack howitzer.
Why did they scold you? What have you done wrong now?
I was teaching small arms repair, and I was teaching how to fix howitzers, which I hate doing.
Oh, I thought you liked working on everything.
Howitzers are boring. It's like fixing farm equipment. It's just all nitrogen and hydraulic lines, and you have to use a crane to move half the parts on it. It's just boring.
What's your favorite thing to work on?
Small arms.
You like doing what your job's namesake is?
Yeah, because apparently the military is like mortar systems and the main gun on a Bradley, and also howitzers. Those are all small arms. You have to fix those.
Well, the United Nations is regulating large arms. They're like, no, these rocket launchers and these nukes are small arms.
That's small arm. A person can carry it. It must be small arms. They had moved these small pack howitzers, which are little... It's a relatively small howitzer. They're called pack howitzers because you can theoretically break it down and have a bunch of people carry each individual part for it to a location and set it up.
These howitzers are normally mounted on vehicles?
They're normally towed behind a vehicle. And they had some firing version that they would shoot blanks through. And one of the generals at this base that I was on was getting promoted.
And you had to give him a 21 howitzer salute.
So they had moved these little pack howitzers into the same area that our other howitzers were.
Okay,
the ones that I would teach students how to fix.
Are you telling me they put a display-only howitzer next to all the functioning howitzers?
They're all real howitzers, but yes, they put these ones down there. So, of course, because these little pack howitzers are different, and they're sitting 10 feet away from where the howitzers that I teach people how to fix are, the students are just... They're wandering over there and futzing with these pack howitzers, which they're not supposed to be doing.
Did you know it was for a display-only howitzer?
They told us, we're putting these down there, don't touch them, leave them alone. And I went, okay, why would I even do that? Well, the students keep going over and messing with them and pulling on the firing lanyard and being stupid. And
didn't you have a tarp you could throw over it? Or
no, I'm not allowed to touch them.
You don't have to touch them. Just throw a tarp over it.
I would have gotten in trouble for that.
Okay.
You'll see why in a second here.
You're not allowed to touch these things. Also, don't acknowledge they exist.
Pretty much. One day I go down to the bay where the howitzer is, and the students are all bucking with these little pack howitzers. And I tell them, go over to where the M777 howitzer is. We're going to work on that thing. Stop messing with these. So they all leave, and I notice sitting on the ground next to it is a box and a bunch of blank rounds.
They were shoving blank rounds from a different gun into that howitzer?
No, they go into that howitzer. They're blank rounds for that little pack howitzer.
So the students didn't leave that there.
No, it was the people that were doing the promotion ceremony. They left a bunch of blank rounds sitting right next to it. Granted, if you are standing behind the little pack howitzer and you set off the blank rounds, yeah, it's going to be real fucking loud. Mm-hmm. And that's about it. But if you're standing in front of the barrel or looking down the barrel like half of the students were doing and someone sets off one of the blank rounds, it's going to take your face off.
Yeah, blank rounds are not non-lethal. Blank rounds can kill if used improperly.
Yes. Considering that there's a bunch of blank rounds sitting next to this, I am willing to bet that one of the people that was running the ceremony earlier left a round in the chamber. So I go and I open the breech on every single one of them, and on 3 of them, a live blank round pops out of the back of it. Are you fucking kidding me? So I take these blank rounds, and then I move the box somewhere else.
Away from the cannons.
Away from the cannons.
Yes. Seems like a sensible, responsible thing to do.
Because somebody could have blown someone's face off, or at the very least, if one of the students had set off those blank rounds, it would have deafened everybody in that bay, because it's just a giant concrete building.
So that would have been loud.
It would have been very loud, it would have been very uncomfortable, they probably would have destroyed property, or maybe even killed somebody.
So everything that you said so far seems like you've done the right thing, and other people were being stupid.
I tell the government contractor that is my boss that there were blank rounds left loaded in these pack howitzers, and I didn't appreciate the fact that they had left live ammunition in my work area next to small howitzers. Mm-hmm. And he says, you're not supposed to be touching those. That's beside the point. Somebody left live ammo loaded in these guns. Yeah, but you weren't supposed to be touching them.
Oh.
So then I got my ass reamed by both the officer that was in charge of the civilians teaching small arms repair, like the military officer, and also the government contractor that was my boss. They chewed me out and gave me a formal reprimand for messing with these pack howitzers that had live rounds loaded in them. By rendering something safe, I got in trouble.
Ultimately, were you in the right?
Yes.
Who would dispute that besides them?
Nobody.
Nobody would dispute that.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would have disputed that. Somebody left a loaded gun in my workspace and then yelled at me for clearing it to make sure that it wasn't loaded.
You haven't mentioned this story to me before. Is this one of many stories?
Not a lot of really stupid stuff happened when I was teaching small arms repair.
This probably qualifies as one of the stupidest things.
This was pretty stupid though, yeah.
How bad was the penalty?
I got yelled at.
That was it? Doesn't seem like too big of a penalty. No formal write-up or nothing?
I think there may have been a formal write-up. I don't know. I don't remember. I stopped working at that job because I got laid off due to budget cuts.
Maybe they laid you off because they didn't like you touching their stuff.
That's a possibility, but they did lay off a lot of the civilian contractors.
This civilian, what's his name? Zach? He keeps saving the lives of these soldiers who are trying to get killed. I don't appreciate that.
I don't like that very much.
That guy right there, he's gonna cost us a fortune in medical bills. We gotta get rid of him, but Zach's standing between us and him.
We should kill him. No. Let's just annoy him with bureaucracy.
Let's frame him for attempted tampering. It's frustrating, isn't it?
It is. One time I sneezed so hard I shit my pants.
That is a whole new story!
Well, you know, it's a scientific fact that when you sneeze, it causes all of the muscles in your body to contract. Mm-hmm. Sneezing is one of the most violent things that the human body can do. There was a man who literally sneezed once, and he gave himself a heart attack and died. From sneezing!
Yep.
He just sneezed. I heard another story about a guy that sneezed so hard he broke 4 of his ribs.
Yes, that's the thing.
So one day I'm sitting down, I'm playing video games, minding my own business. I sneeze, and I sneeze so violently that I just go and squeezed out a little turd. And I'm just like, no! Why did this happen? Why has God forsaken me? And that's the day I became an atheist.
There are so many times you shit yourself.
I've only done it like 2 or 3 times.
But is that on top of the 2 or 3 times you had dysentery?
Oh, okay, I forgot about the dysentery.
Oh, I forgot all about all those other times I shat my pants.
I forgot about that. That was a legitimate medical condition. Dysentery is a real thing that happens to people. It's not my fault that I was shitting myself to death.
No, it's not. Dysentery is a myth. Of course it's a real thing.
I used to kill people. People used to die of dysentery.
Yes, or wait it out, like you did. Like when I had my appendix.
No, I drank a lot of water. You had your appendix removed?
I was driving around town, going to work, and said, "Oh, my gut hurts. This bottom left portion of my stomach hurts."
And it turned out that it was just a small goblin man who was living in your armrest, and he would just poke you with a sharpened stick occasionally.
How dare you? This is a very serious story about my appendix rupturing.
Okay.
Anyway, my appendix hadn't ruptured.
Oh.
It was just an obstruction in my gut. But the pain that I had at that moment was so severe, I pulled off the side of the road for about 10 minutes and legitimately thought, I might need to go to a hospital. This might be an actual emergency. I know if your appendix ruptures, you've got about 48 hours to get to the hospital before you die. Hope it's not appendicitis, because I'm not going to the hospital, because I live in America.
Yeah, and I can't afford it. Do you remember when our friend in high school ruptured his appendix on prom night?
Yes. What a lovely time to rupture that thing.
Oh, man. We were at prom. He left because he was like, I don't feel good. I feel really, really awful. He went home. He kept telling his parents, my stomach really hurts. I feel awful. Can I please go to the hospital? And they're like, you're fine. You just have indigestion. You don't need to go to the hospital. And eventually at like 4 a.m. when he was laying in bed going, they were like, okay, fine, we'll bring him to the fucking hospital since he's being such a crybaby about it.
You're gonna cry your eyes out, fine. We'll spend thousands of dollars just so the doctors can say you're okay.
Brought him to the hospital, the doctor was like, yeah, your appendix ruptured. You probably had another 7 or 8 hours before you would have went into toxic shock and probably died.
Yes.
He's just like, I told you!
Our healthcare system is fucked up.
Oh, it's so messed up. Yeah, when I got carbon monoxide poisoning, I literally did not want to go to the hospital because I was like, I don't know if my insurance will cover an emergency room visit. Turns out I still had to pay $200.
Of course.